What is the closest non-sexual thing to an orgasm you have experienced? That one time I used a neti pot and the sinus infection that had been ruining my life for the past week came out in one glorious blob. I swear to God it was like the size of a softball. All one gelatinous blob. I cried. Amazing. Edit. Wow, this blew up a bit. To answer a few questions, I only use a neti pot with distilled water and medical grade saline. Getting bacteria all up near your brain is a bad idea. On that note, if you want to try this, you need to clean the pot before and after really well. Personally, I use boiling water, followed by hot water and soap, followed by a rubbing alcohol rinse after each use and before I use it next time. Boiling water is why I have a ceramic pot and not a plastic one. A lot of people find that using a neti pot makes their sinus infections worse because you're essentially shoving the bacteria deeper. Personally, I've never had this problem, but your mileage may vary. Some people like to use a rinse like once a week or so to prevent infections from forming. Again, it seems to depend on the person quite a bit. I only get sinus infections like once a year, always in the fall when the farmers out south of Lake Okeechobee burn off all the dead sugar cane. All the smoke and burning pesticides are very irritating. So now I know to start rinsing regularly around that time to prevent infections from starting in the first place. Edit #2. I'd suggest trying it in the shower at first so you can clean up any splashing easily. Also, it is pretty uncomfortable, especially at first. It's a bit like waterboarding yourself. But once you get the hang of it and how to breathe during, it's actually very nice and the end result can be lovely. Also, make sure you warm up the water a little bit so it's not cold. However, make sure it's not hot because burning your sinuses is not good. I've made that mistake. Not fun. Also, make sure the saline actually dissolves all the way so you don't get the little crystals in your nose. Getting my ear flushed out with warm water. Years ago I used one of those beeswax candle things that supposedly suck wax out of your ear when you light them on fire. Well, some of the ash floated down into the cone and hit my eardrum. So I went to the doctor and they flushed it out with a warm solution, and it was the most satisfying feeling I've ever felt to date, orgasm aside. I had Rocky Mountain spotted fever and was lost in a brutal heat pain delirium for several days. When the fever broke, I was immediately drenched in sweat and felt a relief that was damn near orgasmic. Had a severe poison oak rash all over my upper arm and shoulder. It itched like mad. I went in the shower and turned the water to near scalding hot and blasted my poison oak rash with it. It felt so good, I had this weird full body orgasm. I was shuddering in pleasure as I stood in the shower. Back when capri pants were all the rage for ladies, I was wearing them while doing a tour of a banana plantation. I didn't see, hear, or feel any mosquitoes out there, but the next day I discovered that I had about 40 mosquito bites all over my calves and shins. It itched so bad I thought I might seriously injure myself. I went to take a shower thinking maybe blasting some ice water on my legs would help numb my nerves and give me some relief. It didn't. But when I got out, my friend handed me some Gold Bond medicated anti-itch lotion. I figured it's bullshit, but I'll try anything at this point. Plus I always put lotion on after a shower. So I'll just sub this special lotion for my normal shit. Rub the lotion all over my legs, and I swear to God in about 15 seconds it felt like 1,000 angels had descended from heaven to gently scratch my mosquito bites without injuring my skin. Absolute fucking miracle. Felt so good. If Mr. Gold Bond had been there I probably would have blown him to thank him. It was that good. The first time someone used one of those wirehead scratchers on my scalp, by God I was making goat noises. It was awkward and yet so good. I'm laughing and imagining you at a mall kiosk. Abdominal pain going away and looking thinner after letting out a long airy fart. I love that feeling, OMG, it feels like my stomach is deflating. Drinking cold water when you're very dehydrated. Eating the food you've been craving and it's actually satisfying. Edit, and actually getting food out of your teeth. Paying all bills off and having money to spare. I'm asthmatic, The first breath with an inhaler 12 hours after your asthma starts to bother you and you forgot yours at home. When you get that first full lung full of beautiful air. Edit. Wow, didn't think this would blow up like it did. Thanks for the shiny metals. Asthmatics and other troubled breathers represent. Finally letting loose with a burstingly full bladder after a long car ride. Truth. Going for a pee when holding it in for ages is almost orgasmic. Especially when you're drunk. When you feel like you're gonna throw up and the stomachache goes away when you burp. Oh my gosh, that's the best in the world. Especially because I'm super afraid of throwing up. One time, I had a big stretch after a few hours sitting at my computer and my back popped in 5 places. So good. After a headache of 2 days I managed to finally pop my neck. Sudden release of tension and the pain was gone. I was barely able to hear for almost 2 months thanks to a really bad infection I got after chemo. I woke up late in the afternoon and my eardrums just started spasming. Then all of a sudden I could hear. Hearing again basically made me cry out of joy. 1. But the eardrum spasming was oddly pleasurable. 1. There was a possibility I was gonna need surgery that might cause permanent damage, plus not being able to hear music in a very stressful time wasn't great. That and I listen to music on a daily basis for probably a solid 8 hours out of my awake time in a day. It helps with my anxiety. I'm not a very good musician, but I have had a few really great experiences with nailing some improvisational moments with a few friends. There's nothing quite like it. Holy yes. Nothing like a really great jam and just being in the music. When you get water trapped in your ear canal and it finally releases. Farting really loudly when no one's around. I had 2 huge plastic stents placed into each nostril for an entire month after surgery to fix my septum. The month was fucking dreadful. I finally went in to have them removed at the end of the month and the doctor pulled them both out along with massive clots of bloody boogers. Holy fuck. That first 15 minutes after was like heaven on earth. I teared up and had a big fat smile on my face walking out of the hospital. It was such an amazing feeling. Stepping out of heels or scratching under the top of socks/bra strap. Rubbing my head after it's been buzz cut. Remembering the right answer for a test. Getting into clean sheets with freshly shaved legs. Hot shower after being cold. No one gonna talk about the feeling when you rub your eyes and you can't stop. It feels like an eye orgasm. Popping a joint after it's been sore for a while and getting a sudden flood of pain relief. Similar to this. About 10 years ago, when I was still working as a bartender, I was talking to some of the guys who worked there about my back bothering me. One of the bouncers, who was a pretty huge guy, was like, "Let me see." So he felt around on my back for a second and said, "Feels like you've got a walnut stuck in here." Then he just like jammed his knuckle into the spot really hard for a couple seconds, and I swear it felt like a warm waterfall went down my back. The pain and knot were gone, and it just felt like warm comfort. Stretching your body really far until it's slightly too far and you end up with a cramp in your calf. That's the most painful thing ever. Sneezing. I drank a whole theater-sized large soda before watching Return of the King. By the end of the movie, I was having what best could be called contractions. So I'd been waiting to see Jurassic World with my friend, right? It was my first time in a theater that had those recliners. I was chugging my soda not thinking anything of it, enjoying the movie, reclined. I felt the need to pee, but didn't want to miss the movie, so I ignored it for a while. It got to the point where it was so uncomfortable I was more focused on my bladder than the movie, so I decided I'd better just use the bathroom quick and return as soon as I could. Tried to unrecline, and the chair was ducking, stuck in the reclined position. Leaning forward on a full bladder was so ducking painful, and I was towards the front of the theater so everyone got to watch me struggle to crawl out of my chair like a drunk. But goddamn did that pee feel satisfying. People playing with my hair. I always can't help but roll my eyes up out of satisfaction. It's weird that I do this. That's why I don't like people caressing my hair. Edit. Thank you for the award. Oh.